Get to know a little bit more about Ashlee and what is happening over in real award-winning Mornington Peninsula. How many Victoria Tourism Awards have you guys won?
We've had Hall of Fame twice, and then we're in ecotourism, and I think we've won that twice.
Really? So this year is going for
Hall of Fame
3 times.
I think.
Amazing. Well, all the best of luck with that. I'm sure you guys will do great. So before we get into the partnership marketing stuff, so how many of you guys have heard about the Lynette Bergen Fellowship? So a few of you. Excellent. So this is something that is run by the Victorian Tourism Industry Council. It is available for young leaders in the industry to come up with an idea or a concept that they are given support. I mean, it's $9,000?
$8,000 and $1,000 to your employer.
$8,000 for the fellowship to the individual to explore and research, and $1,000 to the employer. So this is all about, what is something that's relevant and timely at the moment that's happening within the industry that you could go out into the world and do some research on, that you could come back and not only benefit your business, but more importantly, that's going to add a benefit to our wider industry. And this young lady beside me got this year's award, and I've just had a little bit about what it's about, and it's very relevant to what we're here talking about today. So tell us before we get into this, just what you put in as your submission for the fellowship, what it was that got you sparked and curious and passionate.
Yeah, so last year I attended a conference, and it was on sales and marketing, but one of the ladies spoke about the sharing economy and I suppose why it's happening and how it's, people say disrupting, but perhaps changing different industries. So I was quite fascinated by the rise of the sharing economy, and particularly understanding how it affects different businesses within the tourism industry. I know it's different for transport businesses versus hotels versus attractions, but I think it affects everyone. So, did you ask me what my research was on?
Yeah. What sparked your curiosity and what you
I think coming from a marketing background, I was fascinated by the way in which we're all changing and how technology is allowing for that change. And I suppose just interesting to see, I guess how it's benefiting, I think, the tourism industry, but then also, I guess, comes with some challenges. So I was just interested to know what we could learn more to ensure that we make the most of this changing landscape. So I think that was sort of where the curiosity came from.
Excellent. And where will this take you over the next 12 months?
Yeah, so in my research, or in my proposal, I said that I would like to go to South Korea, Hong Kong and San Francisco. In South Korea, they're, as a destination, embracing the sharing economy. So the government has all these different initiatives in which they're supporting the sharing economy. For example, they give out funding to small operators to start up their sharing economy businesses. They also have an accreditation process as well. So as a tourist, you know which are, I suppose, legit or accredited sharing economy businesses. And they've also got empty spaces within South Korea that they, I suppose, let out to different sharing economy businesses. So I think it was just sort of seeing at a destination point of view what they're doing. In Hong Kong, the head of sales and marketing for the Marriott hotels put together this initiative a few years ago where she partnered up with a sharing economy business. She saw that their conference rooms within some of their hotels were going underutilised. So rather than, I suppose, trying to flog them to more conferences, she partnered with a group called Liquid Space, and they rent out office space or conference space. So I think it's looking at how traditional tourism businesses can partner with sharing economy businesses. I guess the two can work together. And then obviously in San Francisco is the place in which most of the sharing economy businesses have started, Airbnb being one of them. So it's looking at how Airbnb partner with the industry, particularly during big events. We obviously know that our traditional accommodation can only do so much during big events. So how can Airbnb partner with the industry to ensure that we've got enough accommodation during these big events? So
it is so relevant, isn't it, guys? I hope all your little minds are tingling, going, oh my God, there's a whole other space that we can explore, and how can we tap into that sharing economy? Do you have any idea of how many, like, say, Airbnbs are in Melbourne or in Victoria?
I think it was, the recent figure I saw was like 8,000.
8,000, that's extraordinary. Huge opportunities for all of us there. Thanks for sharing that. All the best of luck. That's going to be very exciting. And for anyone under 35, because it is to develop young leaders in the industry, please put a little, spread the word that this exists. I'd love for Victorian Tourism Industry Council to be inundated with applications and ideas. So even if you have staff that could potentially do the same thing as Ashlee, Lynette Bergen would be a great opportunity for anyone. So let's bring it back to the Peninsula Hot Springs. So you've been there 4 years. Give us a little background of how much, I guess, a lot's changed even in 4 years, and how your role has evolved at the Hot Springs.
Yeah. So I might just start with Peninsula Hot Springs and maybe just talk about, I suppose, the journey of Peninsula Hot Springs,
Excellent.
Where it's been, where it's at, and where it's heading in the next few years. Who's been to the Hot Springs? Okay. So Peninsula Hot Springs started 11 years ago, but it wasn't an easy process just to open. There was lots of research, drilling down, permits, planting of different plants and trees and whatnot. So that was probably, I think, about 8 or 9 year process, but they finally opened in 2005 with the Spa Dreaming Centre, which is still there today, but is our adults only area. And then in 2009 they opened up the bathhouse, which is your family-friendly social bathing area. When they opened up, there was 5 pools, and now I think there's about 35 different pools.
Wow.
We now see about 440,000 visitors annually. 350 of those go to the bathhouse, and the others go to the Spa Dreaming Centre. So it's quite a huge place at the moment. We're in the process of expanding. I guess have gotten to the point that our bathhouse bathing area is quite busy and is often booked out most of the time, so obviously there's a need to grow. Next year, and I won't say dates because I'm sure it will change, the bathhouse bathing area is going to double in size, so we'll see about 7 or 8 new pools, an ice cave, a sauna, and later down the track there'll be a stage in the amphitheatre area as well as a dedicated yoga studio. So there's a bit going on. But Peninsula Hot Springs is on currently 43 acres, but we're only utilising about a third of that space. Long term there is plans for accommodation, but we don't anticipate that'll come on board for at least 3 to 5 years. So we have purchased a property next door that does have a house on it, so that will most likely be our first stage of accommodation. But obviously bathing is a unique selling point, so I think accommodation will come further down the track.
I love Charles, who owns Peninsula Hot Springs. He shared something really, it hit a note, because he's quite involved in the Japanese spa industry, and he speaks fluent Japanese, is that right?
Yeah, so his wife's Japanese.
His wife's Japanese, but he was saying the Japanese culture, in the business culture, they really have a belief that you don't start until you've been in business for 10 years. And that really resonated, and he said, we're actually just at the beginning. I feel like I've just started, and there's so much exciting things to come. Yes, please. Now tell us about you.
Yes, so I've been at the Hot Springs for 4 years, and as I was preparing for this, I actually thought back to my interview when I was going for the marketing coordinator role. And Charles said to me, why do you want to work at the Hot Springs? And I said, the reason I want to work here is because I just love what you do with the industry and how you partner with them. And I suppose, really just trying to help all the businesses grow. I liked the way they collaborated, and that was my motivation of wanting to work there. Obviously, jumping in the bars sounded pretty fun too. But yeah, I suppose my role, I came in as marketing coordinator, and when I first started, the role was very generalist. I looked after a whole range of different things, and partnership marketing was one of them. And so I was, I guess, open to how it, I suppose, saw how it was going, but obviously there became the need to have someone dedicated in that role, which is why we now have a lady by the name of Audrey who looks after our partnership marketing, because it does take a little bit of time, but I think it's also an important part of the business as well. So I used to, I suppose, do a bit of everything, and now I'm just, we've got people now specialised, which I think as the business has grown, we've grown as well. So.
Fantastic. So that answers, well, maybe doesn't, your favourite thing about working in regional tourism.
Yeah. So I did do some time in the city, but I think I always knew that my heart was back on the peninsula, because I loved, I suppose, the lifestyle, but I also loved a lot of the passion that was there with a lot of the operators. They seemed obviously very passionate about their product and dedicated, but I think everyone loved to collaborate and work together, which is what I really loved. So that's why I'm working down there.
So 2 Hall of Fames going potentially soon. Yeah, at the end of the year it'll be 3.
Yep.
How much do you think your collaborative marketing initiatives have contributed to the success of really this type of recognition?
Yeah. So I believe in the tourism, I don't actually write the tourism application, but I believe in the tourism application it touches on how you work with the industry, or I suppose, is that correct?
It is correct.
Yeah, okay, so it touches on, what do you do? And obviously we partner with over 100 different tourism businesses, and what that does is, I think obviously that generates overnight room stay, partnering with all these different businesses. But our website actually sees twice the website visitation to the local tourism one on the Mornington Peninsula. So our website generates just over 700,000 page visits to accommodation specifically each year. And obviously that has a flow-on effect to all their various different websites. We sell about 30,000 passes to the hot springs to specifically accommodation and dining providers, so I feel that the stats sort of speak for themselves. A lot of people we work with say that the main reason they're coming to the region is to come to the hot springs. So when they're staying with them, they know that that's sort of the main draw card. And obviously their website referrals say the same thing as well. So
I love that you look at that, and that's, I think, something that as small businesses we can neglect looking at the numbers of our visitation to our website where people are clicking. And I love that it's looking at what the stats and what the activity of the market is doing, and then basing your decisions on that. So from your perspective, Ashlee, what would you see as the key, like if you could think of the key benefits of collaborating and partnership marketing to your business? What have been the key benefits of engaging in this way?
Yeah, I think the key benefit for us, and it is different for the other people that we work with, is more about our customers. We know we don't have accommodation, so our customers need accommodation. So I think it's more or less just making it easy for them to find it. We know that our customers want somewhere else to eat or do something else in the region, so I think the packaging just makes it easier for them. For our package partners, the reason that they want to package with us is obviously generally for that greater exposure, the website referrals, and obviously for the revenue. So it is different, and I think it's sometimes making sure you know why you're doing it. I mean, we're about creating a community, so for us it's more about that reason rather than
creating a community.
But yeah.
I love, the last time I was there, something that really caught my attention, I love that you did. You had a big wall of brochures, but they were all branded the same.
I've got a photo for you.
I loved that. So, and it's all branded to Peninsula
No,
No?
it's not.
No.
Okay, so that was actually by coincidence that it's the red, which is our branding colour. So this group's called Love the Pen, and they're, I suppose you'd say a marketing group on the peninsula, but their more point of what they do is telling the stories of all the small businesses on the peninsula.
I love this wall so much. I was like, what a great thing to model. Like if you could do it, if you have a space, if you do have a retail space to engage in your community.
Yeah, and I think for us, I mean, the aesthetics work well because it's all even. And I think that's also my understanding where a lot of tourism boards are heading, rather than businesses all having their own branding when they're putting OVGs together. It's about having a bit more of a cleaner look, which is, I think, why this is so appealing for customers.
It really was appealing. It was like, oh, what's that? It drew me, and then I saw, and I was there just plucking brochures, and it did tell the story of all the different experiences and places to stay.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yep.
So, when you've got your eye on a business or a brand that you would like to approach from Peninsula Hot Springs, do you have a strategy? What's your approach to go and seek out those collaborative opportunities?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, Audrey looks after our partnership marketing, and a lot of what she does is obviously attend lots of networking events, and that's where you often meet those key businesses that you want to partner with. She often just obviously introduces herself and finds a way to stay in touch, whether that's subscribing them to our e-newsletter or vice versa. When the timing's right, I think it's about just getting in contact and really trying to understand each other's businesses. Obviously, our partnership program doesn't work for everyone, but it's trying to understand what you're trying to achieve with your business and figure out if there is that way in which you can work together. Audrey will often go through our partnership program and run through how it works, and then if they're interested, it's about getting them set up in the system and creating the packages and then getting the reciprocal links and set up so they can start buying passes. So we find that we don't tend to actually actively go after a huge number of businesses. We find that a lot often come to us, but we'll probably get to that question about the criteria.
Keep going, yeah, because that's my next question, like how the selective process and the other way around, because I can imagine you're inundated. Love it. And I love that you've got a model, like you've looked at all the different opportunities and created your own model of how it will work for you. So yes, please share, how do you select that they tick the boxes for someone you want to engage?
So for a package partner to get started, we ask that they create a package that includes entry to Peninsula Hot Springs. With package partners, we just sell entry to the bathhouse. We, for a few select ones, offer a discount on some of our spa products, such as the private bathing and dining packages, but the bathhouse is where we really work with them. So we ask that they put a package together on their website, that they have a reciprocal link to, or a link to our website, and then we put the package on our website with a link back to theirs. Our pricing structure changed recently, which I think we'll get to later. But one of the key things with packaging with us is that we ask that they don't advertise the discounted rate that we're giving to them to consumers. It is about the package. It's not about just flogging off cheap passes to the hot springs. Our passes do give their customers priority entry to the hot springs, which when we're booking out, that's a really unique selling point. So that's often one of the key things that they really try and sell to the people that are potentially coming to the hot springs. So we have to be mindful that the passes aren't getting just sold by themselves. So if that happens, then unfortunately they do have to, will no longer be a partner. And then along the way, obviously, there are little audits that we do to just make sure the links are still there and that sort of thing. I think that's answered.
That's great. I mean, I take that away as doing audits. That's something that I will take away from that.
Yeah.
Actually checking, because sometimes we can tend to set and forget. And go back and check that all these links are working and they're live and active.
Just maybe on that as well. We also ask from our own brand positioning, we do not want to be, I suppose, position ourselves too cheaply. So if any of our package partners wish to sell our packages or packages that we have with them on third-party websites like Scoop-On or Groupon or any of those sort of things, we do always ask that they check it with us before they do that, because it is sort of that brand positioning. So we do find that sometimes partners can be a little sneaky in what they do. So I think it's about having that open communication and making sure that they always run things by Audrey, which is our partnership coordinator. So
that's great, and that leads to my next question in terms, because we've spoken a lot about win-win, creating win-win outcomes. Do you, as part of your strategy and with your, with Peninsula Hot Springs, with such a draw card to the region, what steps do you take to ensure that it's fair when it comes to your partnership promotions and campaigns?
Yeah. So it's obviously always a tricky one when you've got so many different partners, and people can see that if their listing's higher on the page, that perhaps it's not fair. So we do only give them one listing on our website. We have different categories, particularly for accommodation, and sometimes they can fit in many, but we do often just say stick to the one. We have trialled a few different things over the past, and perhaps they haven't quite worked, which is we have an e-newsletter database of about 90,000, and obviously social media channels like Facebook that have got 70,000 likes, and obviously that's quite attractive to a small business owner. And we have tried to promote them on our social media channels in the past, and some businesses it works better for than others. We did the maze a little while ago and that went gangbusters, but then if you try to perhaps promote a little bed and breakfast, it doesn't get the same traction. So unfortunately we've just kept our social media more direct consumer about Peninsula Hot Springs, because we realised that we found it a bit of a tricky one to keep even amongst everyone. We do have a current promotions page on the website that we've saved for accommodation partners or our package partners, and we give people the opportunity to do one promotion a year, and that page receives a lot of traffic, and we find that when people have a promotion on that page that they get a lot of sales. So I think having Audrey in her role ensures that I think everything gets that's kept fair, because you've really got to keep the tabs on it. Just trying to think. There might be one other thing that I was going
that's
to
right.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I love what you said too earlier on, and I don't know if we've covered just about that you attract such a wide variety of markets, different market segments. Because we were talking about weddings obviously being a very popular destination and how much you do, and I love what you said, that you try not to alienate, not be everything to everyone, and keeping a good balance. Just explain that a little bit more about that. Just that, say for example, Ashlee was sharing like the Chinese market, they're inundated with Chinese food, but they could go harder at that. But I loved that you have that awareness or ability to say, but wait a second, yes, we could go harder and attract more of that, but then we'll alienate our strong local community. And I think that was a really key insight, that even though everyone's playing in this playground, it's cool to be there, that we don't neglect or alienate our existing people, which is good insight.
Yeah.
So another thing, that just coming on from your programs and your listings, is that something you monetize in an advertising capacity? Just because, is that something that you do, or you just work in a collaborative? Yeah.
So it's just all
So I'm sure people would be prepared to pay for the top spot in Peninsula Hot Springs accommodation.
And I think some smarter operators actually do SEO work on their websites to tap into the Peninsula Hot Springs traffic. So when you Google Peninsula Hot Springs accommodation, ours comes up top, but theirs will come up after that. So I think that there's often, if they're smart, there's often ways that I think they can manipulate what they do. And obviously they use their Facebook pages to promote their Peninsula Hot Springs packages, and if they tag us, obviously it'll come up on our page. So yeah, I think there's still ways, even though that we might not like put e-newsletter articles about them and other things, that they can still manipulate their engines to sort of tap into ours. So Peninsula Hot Springs accommodation, as you can imagine, is quite a search term in Google. So yeah, I think she's getting a bit smart about what you do. So. And I mean, there's things as well, like if we've got 100 different packages on our website, the accommodation places that have a better looking image will obviously probably see more click-throughs than other packages. So I think we often give them tips. Some of the businesses that we work with are small B&Bs, so they don't perhaps look at their Google Analytics and see the referrals that they're getting through to their website from ours. So often it is a bit about education and understanding why they're in the partnership.
Love it. And this is a really, I guess, I'm just sharing what I'm taking away from this conversation as well, is that you kind of have to, having skin in the game. I had someone recently coming to say, you know, I don't justify my membership or, you know, or the visitor's guide. But this is a prime example of having skin in the game and getting involved with your local regional tourism organisation to have access to people like Ashlee and Audrey. You know, I mean, look at this isn't you guys, you've shown up to a Destination Melbourne workshop, but certainly paying, even in your own strategies of saying, well, how many networking events am I going to attend this quarter? Like actually being strategic about being in the room with the right people to create these opportunities for collaboration. I just wanted to touch that because that's really when you say like how you find these people or when you attract, what number one thing is networking. We can't, you know, yes, we can pick up the phone and call someone, but actually striking that relationship from the beginning. Excellent. If anything has sparked you off and you're curious, there will be questions at the end. Save them up or please put your hand up. This is an open chat for everyone. Now, a big component, our final module is going to be on developing, you know, a bit of this 10-step secret formula. It's like the Colonel's recipe, but everyone's going to find out about it today. I guess a big component of packaging is the pricing structure. So can you share insight about, I guess, the key components of how you price? You've touched on, you know, not disclosing any discounted rates to the consumer. But and do you make your packages, do you make them available through those traditional distribution channels?
So packaging at the Hot Springs has been around, I believe, for 10 or 11 years, ever since they started. Obviously, the initial attention, as I spoke before, was a bit about community, but obviously there was an aspect of awareness. So we were keen to get as many people that we partnered with to be packaging with us. And so I think we've been on a journey with our partnership model. And so at the start, we offered a very, well, I think heavily discounted offer to our package partners, which was 30% off the adult pricing on bathhouse bathing. And that was great, and they had their priority passes. How it worked was, at the start, was they were actually given like a business card size pass, and they'd order in bulk groups of 10 passes.
So like prepaid?
Yeah. So they would last for 12 months. So these.
That's beautiful. So they prepay for 10 passes,
and then they would just on-sell them in their packages, and they'd give them priority passes, priority entry to the Hot Springs. So from an administrative point of view, it was quite simple. But obviously, as the business has grown, that 30% became quite generous for us, so we did change it to 20%. But then in the last year, and this is probably one of the things I will mention at the end, is it is important with partnerships that you do review them. I'm not saying all the time, but perhaps on an annual basis, because you will notice that in partnerships, one of the businesses may change their needs from when you originally had the partnership. So we got to the point for the last few years that our bathhouse bathing area books out on weekends, so that when we have people coming in with priority passes, from an operational point of view, it gets a bit tricky because you've got to leave spots open for these people that are potentially going to come at the times that you don't know when they're going to come. But also, we've got people that we're turning away from the hot springs, but then we've got people turning up with 20% off our bathhouse bathing. So it really got to the point that we're sort of like, well, we want to keep partnering with these 100 businesses that we're working with, but financially this is sort of hurting us. So we spoke to a lot of our package partners, and I guess we're trying to understand, you know, why do you want to partner with us? Is it because of the 20% discount that you're getting on bathhouse bathing? Like, are you interested in the commission, or are you wanting the priority passes? And so this is now where we launched a new partnership model only about a month ago, and now we offer people both, so they can get the priority passes, but they need to pay the full retail rate, or if they want the 20% commissionable rate, they've just got to pre-book. So it helps us operationally that we're just not, I suppose, getting the numbers rocking up like we used to, or that from a business point of view, we're not losing out. We also found that, as you can imagine, most of the people that visited with these passes came on weekends. There is still people that do come off peak, but now with the 20% commission rate that we give, it's available in peak and off-peak periods, which helps. We used to also only have it in available for adults, but now if you pre-book, you get the child, infant and concession rates. Because as you can imagine, we've worked with a lot of businesses that are more family accommodation, so it's important to have those child rates. One of the other things I might also just mention here, we noticed over the last few years that we were seeing a rise of Airbnb stays type properties, or just holiday homeowner properties that wanted to work with us, but they didn't have a website. And one of our key criteria, as I mentioned before, is that you've got to list us on your website with a link back to ours. So we've actually created this online agent model for those people that don't have a website, and instead what they do is on their stays listing or Airbnb listing, they talk about the package, but I know with Airbnb and stays, you don't have the ability that you can link to our website. It's not sort of set up like that. Obviously they've got the room for copy, but they don't have the room for the website link functionality. So for those people, we give them the online agent capability, so they can get the 20% off our bathhouse bathing, but they've got a pre-book, so that also works for us. So
I love this model that you guys have created. If there's anything that, you know, actually having, I mean, like I said, and what, again, key takeaway I take from that, and sometimes we can become so caught up in just what's always been done, and keep doing it and realising that I can change this to benefit, you know, you can't be making yourself to be the lose in the in a win-lose situation.
And I think also what that does is, as you can imagine, that from the receptionist's point of view or the duty manager's point of view, they start to create, I suppose, a negative feeling towards package partners because of how it's all working operationally. So I think it is also about educating them about the changes and why we're doing them, and I think there's a bit more buy-in from their point of view. So one of the next big things we're going to be working on this year is obviously working on how we create the value in those priority passes. So now they're paying the normal rate, but it's actually probably still worth more than $45 because any normal punter that goes through our website and pays $45 for bathing, they're not getting the priority entry. They've got to select a time and they've got to come at that time, or otherwise they lose their spot. So I think in this next year that's going to be one of our big focuses, is how we actually build value around priority passes and
So in terms of measuring...
Oh, and then, sorry, can I talk about the traditional channels?
No, please.
Okay, a lot of so we don't sell these packages, it's our people that we partner with that sell the packages. I know some of them used to go through the normal trade distribution channels, but one of the big ones that a lot of our package partners work with is Red Balloon. Yeah. And Red Balloon recently changed their commission, I think, to some organisations. I probably shouldn't delve in that too much. But anyway, so obviously when we upped our priority passes to the $45, it has a flow-on effect to those businesses that work with the likes of Red Balloon, because how do they now package something that they're sort of losing out on? So I think that's where that pre-booking functionality with the 20% off was still important. Red Balloon are pretty smart. They definitely know from their view that any package that has a hot springs component to it will sell a lot well than one that doesn't, particularly on the peninsula. So all the businesses that they work with on the peninsula, I know that they get in their ear and say, well, if you work with them, sell a package that includes hot springs bathing because you'll sell a lot more. So Red Balloon I know is one of the top ones in terms of those third-party distribution channels in terms of the on-sale. So.
Apart from Peter Global, is anyone else on Red Balloon Days network? So Red Balloon Days, for those of you that don't, they sell experiences. They purely sell gift vouchers, gift voucher experiences, and certainly, yeah, the packages is a great value proposition from that. So you've mentioned about measuring your success in terms of like you really look at your stats, and I love that, behind the scenes what's happening with your website visitation. Can you share with us other ways that you measure the success of your partnership initiatives?
So obviously the first one is sales, because if you're selling more and more passes year on year, it's obviously speaking for itself. I think as well the number of inquiries that we receive about partnership marketing is obviously a demonstration that it's going well. And our website visitation to these different pages on the website indicates that this is what our customers are wanting. I think as well customer satisfaction is really important to us. So if we're seeing that there's that satisfaction when they have partnered with or have purchased a package from one of our package partners, then I think that's also a measure of success. So our feedback from our partners is also really important. We do make an effort to listen to them and understand what their customers are saying about Peninsula Hot Springs as well as about their experience. So we also have a pretty high renewal rate. We do have some that drop off, particularly when we changed our pricing model. It didn't work for everyone, but we were surprised how many people decided, even when we upped our prices, because we needed to, that the amount of businesses that still wanted to stay on. So I think that's also...
That speaks volumes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Questions? Yes?
So do you still pre-sell the passes from lots of 10, or has that changed?
Yeah, that's changed. So, no. So only you now to get the priority passes, you purchase them as you need them and as many as you want.
Right.
I think it says on the one back there that if you want 100, so now we actually email in a PDF format the passes to enter to the hot springs, and what that means is our package partners can then email them out directly to their customers, rather than, because what we found was some people would actually come to the hot springs first and then go to their accommodation after, so it just sort of saved that fact that they had to swing by the accommodation and have the pass with them. But then of course there are still accommodation providers that still want the passes to give to their guests, so we ask that if they do want that, because of the administrative side on our end, that they've got to pre-purchase 100. So yeah.
Any other burning questions?
Is there any other incentives for your partners, or do you find that just offering this is enough to continue the business?
Yeah, I think offering this is enough, but this year I would like to look at other things that we can sell within the business that perhaps might work for them as well. I mean, at the Hot Springs, we have tons of different packages that I think we could utilise. I mean, I know with a lot of our package partners, they want to drive midweek visitation, and so do we. So there's no reason that we can't incentivise them with a discount on one of our products midweek. So it works for them, but it also works for us. So, but I think if we do head into that space, which I think we will this year, then we've got to be careful which partners we do choose, and we probably won't offer it to everyone because there is that education process. If you start to offer another product, you've got to educate them on what that product actually includes so that they're passing on that right information to their guests. I think it just saves a lot of the trouble. And one of the things I'll mention probably again at the end is when you are starting partnership marketing, it is always important to start small and work with a few key operators rather than trying to partner with everyone because it is a growing process. We haven't gotten to 100 partners overnight. It has been a constant learning curve for us. So, yeah, really good.
Do you partner with many CBD hotels or accommodation providers, or is it all local to the Peninsula?
No, we don't partner with any CBD, which I've always thought was interesting. We've actually partnered with Global, but with our package with them, we've got the transport component as well. So I think if we do partner with city hotels, which I think we can, I think that transport part of the package is going to be really important, or otherwise you're only going to have the FIT market. So I think there is potential.
Oh, there oozes potential with a day, like a tour operator, overnight stay tour operator, and come from the spring that oozes. Well, there's plenty of opportunities.
But I
here
think
today.
that's, I think Peninsula Hot Springs is on its way to becoming an iconic attraction, particularly on the peninsula, but I think it's still got a little bit to go to become an iconic destination or attraction for the state. I think when it starts to get to that point, that's when we'll see more partnerships with Melbourne-based businesses, is what I think, but I could be wrong.
There's even on this plans like for a children's water park.
Thermal theme park? Yeah.
Thermal theme park. So it's like in the plans, so the adults can sit there and relax while you're just watching the kids. We're crazy. So exciting times. Any other questions? I'd like to know more about, I love these product updates and training. Is that's industry specific?
So this is only for our package partners. So Audrey will put together the quarterly news update. So most of our package partners are probably on our normal consumery newsletter, but obviously the way that's worded is probably, or what we tell our normal consumers is probably different to what we would tell our trade partners. So that's why we have that quarterly news update. So yeah. And we also found, just with the scheduled site inspections, given the number of people that we work with, to sort of have those ad hoc site inspections can become very time consuming. So having the scheduled days, I think, makes it a lot easier, particularly for Audrey's time.
Yeah, I really love this. And at online imagery, that's really important. So you've got that available on your website. So that's a really good point in terms of your brand and respecting your brand, only being able to have quality images available to whoever's going into your partners and who's going to showcase it. And what I get from that, and we'll talk about the importance of having a database as part of your marketing asset. But I love is segmenting your partners individually. We're thinking of opportunities to launch specific campaigns. Father's Day, Christmas, particularly for your local market, it will be very important. So, for any other questions from anyone? Yes, if you're imparting on some final advice for everyone, looking at, we're all looking to learn more. What else would you add or share with us?
Yeah, one of the things I might just touch on before I go off on I'll leave you on a good note.
Yeah.
I might just give an example about, I don't want to say bad partnership, but...
but it's really important. I've had highlighted that it's important.
Yeah. We have done some things that haven't worked in the past, and for us, we had this partnership with a group called Explore Melbourne's Mornington Peninsula, and essentially it was a group of 6 or 7 different Mornington Peninsula businesses that worked together collaboratively to, I guess, promote their businesses, but also, I guess, their call to action was this ticket that was sold, and it got you entry into 4 of the businesses and then discounts at the other 2 or 3. A lot of money and time was invested into that partnership. There was a lot of meetings, and I think there was also a lot of businesses that we were all trying to keep happy. This group went to trade events, but they also spent money in advertising and other sort of promotions. But the issue was, it was a very time-consuming initiative that actually didn't have many direct sales, and I think really also, didn't have much cut through. So we found that exercise, it wasn't the fact that we all wanted to work together. I think that was perfect and great. It wasn't, and all the businesses were aligned. But I think the actual ticket was very specific to certain people, and it just really didn't work for everyone, and didn't have the cut through. So I think sometimes you've got to be careful, particularly I say on that administrative side, because if that outweighs the benefit, then I think, and it makes it too complex, because you've got to think about the customer as well. If you're saying, we're giving you all this value, but you've got to go to all these businesses, they're sort of thinking, well, I don't want to do all those things. So,
and did you exit early out of that?
I think the group might still be around, and it might be a little bit different now. I don't think there's as many groups involved, which perhaps, and I don't know what sort of money they're spending, but I believe that they were together for about 7 years.
Yeah.
So I think for a while it was okay for us, and I think at the start that worked out well, but I think as time went on, it lost a bit of its momentum.
I'm glad you brought it up. It's really important. It's really important to know when it's not working as much as when it is.
And I think the key thing, I guess the takeaways are, mutual benefit is a must. It really has to be a win-win for everyone, and for us, we do stay pretty firm on our partnership model, because we have got a lot of staff that if anything changes, you've then got to educate all them. So we do stay pretty firm on how we partner. I think, as I said before, don't complicate it, make it simple, and particularly think about the customer and what you're asking of them to do. I think finding those alignments are really good. If you are finding that your customer is doing certain things or staying certain places or eating at certain places, whatever it is, I think that's also an indication that you go, hey, maybe there's a natural partnership here. So I think it's understanding your customer. I think if you aren't doing much in partnership marketing, it is best to just start slow. Just identify those key operators that you want to work with, get in touch with them, understand each other's products, get your team involved, get their team involved into trying to understand what each other does. As I said before, keep it consistent. And what was I going to say? I think it is important to formalise your arrangement as well. So I think you touched on before, have things in writing, have terms and conditions. And with those terms and conditions, perhaps that's when you put in the annual review. There's no point being locked into something that in 12 months' time doesn't work for one or the other parties. We find that it's really important that whatever we're doing with this partnership marketing, that we do pass that information on to our res and reception teams and get them inspired about the package, because they're the ones who have to facilitate it but also take the inquiries. I think I heard a stat a little while ago, but I think like 1 in 3 phone calls to the hot springs is about accommodation. So as you can imagine, or accommodation packages or where to stay, that sort of thing. So we have the potential to be passing on business to other key players in the region or other businesses. So I think that's why getting the reservations on board is important.
So you actively make bookings, overnight bookings?
So we only make bookings for one business, which is next door to us. And I think we actually make a significant number of bookings of their overall room nights. But pretty pretty
One
cool.
more?
I was just going to say, does that work in reverse? Do you then get a commission on their accommodation?
Yeah, so for them we do, yeah. So,
But not for any of the other accommodation?
no, because we don't sell anyone else's accommodation.
Have you ever had any negative, apart from the example you were talking about before, I was thinking of accommodation and restaurants, have you ever had any negative feedback from customers who haven't been happy with your endorsement of somewhere?
I'm just not that I'm aware of. I have seen, just trying to think, because on TripAdvisor, I feel like such a stalker. But when you go on TripAdvisor and you obviously see someone review your product, I'm always interested to go see what else they've reviewed. And then often through that, I've seen they've stayed at a local accommodation place and then obviously had the package with the hot springs. So not that I'm aware of that we've had, but I mean, I guess on the peninsula generally speaking, most of the operators are pretty good. I don't think they would get through the process to have a package with us if they weren't a good operator. But yeah, I'm sure there have been cases though where perhaps certain things, I think it's like, particularly with hotels, you see the occasional thing where they were like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of it, like maybe the room wasn't as quite as clean as what they'd hoped for, or something that they get funny about breakfast not being included and all those, or the Wi-Fi not working, or paying for the Wi-Fi, all those things. I've seen like little niggles like that, but nothing so bad that they've gotten angry that we have endorsed another player.
Hi, sorry. Within your marketing strategy, are you working with any influencers, bloggers, or brand ambassadors?
So we've got one brand ambassador at the moment. Steph Prem's her name. She's in the health and wellness space. But we do a lot of work with brand and key influencers and bloggers. We actually, talking about partnerships, we actually did like I forget what the word's called, like a weekend where a lot of influencers came to the hot springs. We initiated it and worked with a lot of, and this is where it's probably a bit tricky to talk about fair marketing, but we identified some of our package partners that are big in that social media space, and obviously if we had a blogger weekend, they needed a place to stay and things to do.
So you hosted them, like for MILF, or you invited them as your guests?
Yeah, so we worked with about, I think it was 6 different other businesses, and I think there was about 9.
That's a great idea.
9 bloggers.
Oh.
So, because one of the ones we worked with was Happy Glamper. I don't know if anyone's heard of them, but they do the bell tents down on the peninsula. They've got a really strong social media following. But it was the first time we'd ever done anything like that, and what we realised quickly was you've got to be careful with those weekend or those sort of initiatives who you work with, because you will quickly find that often you're doing a lot more work than sometimes other businesses, so you've got to be mindful of that. Happy Glamper work with a lot of influencers, so they were a good one to partner with on that event because they've got the contacts as much as we do. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Last question. Just with any negative feedback, which you probably don't get a lot of, but do you offer remuneration in terms of a discount incentive for the next time they come, or is it just a clear sort of policy of just, sorry for your bad experience, etc.?
So this is just Peninsula Hot Springs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on what their feedback is. So definitely if it warrants it, we will. Okay. But I think sometimes people, too many people in the bathing area, and then we can go back to our numbers and say, well, actually it wasn't over capacity. So yeah, so I think it's it's a bit of a tricky one. If people complain that the water wasn't warm enough or it was too hot than what was advertised, we've got our figures to say what the temperature was like. So I think in some cases definitely, but I think it depends. Yeah. We wouldn't give it out willy-nilly if people complained.
But do you contact them directly? or is that because I'm?
Oh, you're talking about more on like if they like complained on social media? Yeah.
A lot of my clients like when they're they're going onto their social sort of things, and we'll find that just a way to diplomatic way we'll respond to any negative feedback, whether be part of our business or partnership.
Yeah.
But I'm always very mindful of giving them any incentive online because then they'll take advantage of that.
Oh, so advertising that you've given them something. Yeah, generally we'll always get them to, like, we'll give them our feedback email or take it sort of offline to have the conversation. So
yeah, the worst thing you can do was a recent scenario with a business in Victoria, and it was a situation where they broke a long-term partnership with one of their clients. The client was disgruntled, went on social media, darning review, and it went viral because it was involved with special needs, and it went viral to the point it got TV coverage. Now, the worst thing, looking at that as a case study, was that it was completely ignored. It just threw them for six, and overnight it flared. So I think just acknowledging it, and first thing is like taking it offline, would be that it just wouldn't have escalated to the point that it did had it been acknowledged, rather than going, oh, I just want this to go away, and deleting comments and deleting was just yeah. And on that, something that you guys might find value in terms when you're looking at growth and innovation, something that I had read, and I can't remember the book that it was in, but it was saying, like, look at your competitors' reviews, but don't focus on the 5 stars or the 1 stars, because they're either going to be extremely good or extremely bad. Look at their 3 stars and look at those as ways to innovate and use that in your copy for your website for inspiration. So just that sparked. Any parting words or any other questions from this lovely mastermind that we've got here? We're all good. Well, I can't thank you enough for your time. I found that so valuable. I hope you guys, I'm sure you did, there's lots of nodding. It's great just to have someone in the industry doing this. I've taken so much away myself from that. These slides, is that something that you would share with the group? Would you guys find that valuable? Yeah, to just kind of model the model. I think that is, when we're talking excellence, this is something great to replicate. And, you're leaders in the industry, and really appreciate your time.
And I can, Audrey said her name wrong. It's actually on annual leave at the moment. She'll be back on the 17th of August. So I'll, when I speak to Michelle, maybe give my details and her details. But if you do have any other questions, you're more than welcome to get in.
Or ideas
of ways to partner together.
Peninsula Hot Springs.
Yeah, we're happy to chat. I mean, obviously our model probably might not work for everyone, but I think there can often be aspects that you might pick up and think are helpful. So.
Thank you so much, Ashlee. We'll be watching your journey over the next 12 months. Excellent.